Paratransit at Clark Middle School.
No, the Clark Middle School is one and the paratransit.
Oh, I see.
It's like the big bus cars. Is that a lot of art?
Small pieces.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Urban Design Commission meeting for Wednesday, October 8th. Can we have a roll call, please?
Templin,
Present.
Gassick,
Present.
Doherty,
Here?
Kowalski, Ania,
Here.
Kimmerer, Joyner,
Here.
Briggs.
Okay, we have a quorum. So we'll begin by a review of the minutes for Wednesday, September 10th, 2008. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And a second? Excellent. Any objection to approving the motion? It'll carry unanimously. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for approval? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Any disclosures to be made tonight? Well, now we'll move to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Ms. Joyner is moved, or are you trying to pull a case, or are you just moving to?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. And that's been seconded. Does anybody want to pull a case or any objections to approving? Seeing none, consent agenda passes. So next on the agenda is unfinished business. Doesn't look like we have anything in that category. Nothing on the regular agenda. I'm going to slow down a little bit for you. I'm going to be out of here by 6:30. It's public hearings. There are no public hearings. Is anybody asking for an appearance request? Seeing none, we move to reports. Does anyone present have a report?
The only one I have is the 1% arts, as you can see in this attachment that we received. I was a member of the Paratransit Center, and it was, the art was chosen. I was not present at that moment because I was working, and when I realized it was too late to go to the meeting. But anyway, mine is finished.
So, I mean, this report, this is kind of new. We haven't really received an update report like this. Do you know what triggered this?
Are you talking about the report from Monique?
No, this is the 1% for art.
Oh, the 1% for art. Okay, I've got two of these. What's the date on yours?
September 25th.
Okay. Yeah, Jocelyn often sends these just to keep the commission up to date on how a particular project has been resolved.
So it's basically a status report.
Yeah, it's just the status report to say, Clark Middle School, these are the art pieces that were chosen and the artist and so forth, and these are the people who sat on the art selection jury.
Okay. What about this other stuff that Monique sent us?
That was in response to the night she came to speak to the commission. It was several months ago, and at that time she had asked for the commission's help in putting forth a resolution to send to the assembly, and so this is that information. And so if the commissioners wanted to take the same information and put it in the form of a UDC resolution, all the information, I believe, is probably here. I haven't read through it, but I think there's enough here that to formulate a resolution and then send it on to the assembly.
Wasn't there a recommendation with that information to wait till we had a full body? That's what my recollection was. So should we hold off on acting on that? Is there any pressing urgency that would?
I don't believe so.
Why don't we hold off on that until next month? Does that sound like a good idea?
In that case, can you all just hold on to these and just bring them with you next month?
What is this?
This is Monique Anderson, the memorandum that she sent to us, or to you.
Now,
It was sent electronically, I think.
Yeah, I sent it, I forwarded email to you this morning, or Jill Graves had forwarded on to you this morning.
Oh, this morning?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't checked mine.
Oh, okay.
so-
That explains that.
Anything else that we need to discuss tonight?
Yes, I've got some other items. Oh, while we're on it, Jocelyn had asked for some volunteers for 3 new projects for 1% for art. First one is Chester Valley Elementary School, if anyone is interested in that. There's also Sand Lake Elementary School that we saw, I think, just last month. And then Airport Heights Fire Training Facility improvements. Any takers on any of those 3? You'll do Chester Valley, okay.
We could do Airport Heights.
James, you'll do Airport Heights, okay. Anyone for Sand Lake Elementary School?
Sure.
It's a Japanese influence school. It's a Japanese immersion school.
Great.
Okay. Sold. Okay. And then, as you know, we've got vacancy on the board since Blaze resigned. And there are 3 names going forward. Doug is going up again because he just got on, but the term that he is filling, it was up in October. So his name is going forward. James, your name is going forward. And then we have a new commissioner, Patrick Coleman. He's in the audience right here. He came tonight just to see how the meetings are going. Patrick is a planner. He's from Michigan. And why don't you say a bit about yourself? Do you want to just introduce yourself, give the commissioner a little bit about your background? Did you serve previously on commissions, I think? Did you mention that? That you've...
They all go this quickly and easily. So,
Nice to see some balance finally between the professions, another planner joining the urban design. And also, what do you think about the concept of winter cities?
You've written articles for the Winter Cities magazine, the Journal?
Well, fancy that. I think that it's very interesting to see the future discussions that we might have here on the UDC. James, I'm sure that you're going to be,
I'm going to love it.
you're going to love it.
We've opened Pandora's box.
Will your first meeting be next month? Will the timing work out for that?
Yes, October 14th, all three names go forward to the Assembly for approval.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to having you come aboard. Any other reports?
I just wanted to know, in light of our tour around Anchorage a few weeks ago, and we'll probably maybe continue this when we have a full board, but is there any resolution? I didn't remember sort of any resolution, or should there be, about the Begich Middle School and all the birch trees, and, is there any action the UDC wants to take in the sense that they didn't protect them, and over, about 130 birch trees were eaten, and, then they're trying that technique to try and save them or anything.
Aren't they still under warranty?
Yes, they may be, but I don't think the school district is going to pursue getting those. As far as I know, that the landscape contractor said that they're going to go out there and bend up, that top branch and tie it off and hope it's all rectified. But as far as I know, that's all the action that's going to be taken.
But do we have any say? I mean, can we do anything or not? Because we can maybe recommend, but I don't think we have any power to.
Well, yeah, I think you do. You could, if they don't meet specifications, and they don't now. I haven't seen it, but I don't think missing the leader was part of their specifications, so having it eaten off, because it does irreparable damage to the tree to lose the leader. So you could write a letter, you could do a resolution. Probably a resolution is the best bet. You could send it to Carol Como or George Fakalis and the landscape architect and the project manager for the school district.
But wouldn't our best course of action be to enforce some sort of ruling that the UDC has made previously on the project, such as a condition that usually appears on these schools is that they provide a landscape maintenance plan or something like that, and we could suggest that what has happened is at variance with the approved plans that were part of our approval or something. But to come out of nowhere and demand that they do something that's very costly without having some sort of guideline or standard that we're enforcing as the UDC strikes me as being kind of a little bit of a gray area that could potentially draw controversy given the dollars involved. But if it was a matter of enforcing something that they had already committed to on behalf of our approval process, I think that would provide us a little more teeth in our action.
We could look to see what their I can't remember if they even came back and submitted their maintenance plan, but I can go back and check that.
But it's typically a condition that we have.
Yes,
I mean, if there's something in that boilerplate that we've asked for.
I think what we're going to end up looking at is the planting details, and I think it's not going to show a tree that was missing a leader. Patricia?
Usually it says if it's damaged for any reason, they have to replace it in the year. So if it says that, I think they'd have to, because knowing they've planted them where there are a lot of moose and deciding on their own not to protect them.
Right, and trying the plant skid, which was pretty experimental.
And they should have been able to see pretty quick that didn't work. So.
Right, and the fact that they're still haven't protected the trees that are still undamaged at this point.
But that would be my preference, is to sort of hold them accountable for what they presented to our board, and what we thought we were agreeing to was, a permanent installation that would survive at least the warranty period.
Right. Okay, I can go back and try and gather that information and bring it to the next meeting.
So if we form a resolution or something like that, we can include that language, whereas we said that this would be done as specified and the specification required this, or we said that the plant maintenance schedule would require this type of action and that action didn't happen, therefore we're requiring the trees to be replaced. But, short of something like that, if we just say, hey, we drove by your school and we noticed that it didn't look very good, so we want you to put new trees in.
Right. No, we've got to base it on something that we have, and I think we can gather that evidence.
And I think the school district has to enforce that if it's part of the contract, the same as they would for any other construction, because that's an extensive part of the landscape there.
Right.
And it's just going to be, the whole school grounds are going to be surrounded with little shrubs. I mean, worse than shrubs, because they look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, my first question is, where's the project manager from the school district who's insisting that they get what they're paid for?
Right. Yeah, it would be, they'd have to wrestle with the landscape contractor. I think they're probably unwilling to do that.
And we are, right?
Yeah.
How you doing on time? Okay. Anything else? I thought that was a good experience, just going around on that tour. I've thought about some other things. Driving in on the Seward Highway, some of those like container farms that have developed, and some of those industrial tracks with no screening. It kind of seems like we have the opportunity to do some proactive enforcement or something like that. Especially, I didn't want to make a big deal about the fire station because they provided this 1978 documentation or whatever, but I want to be even-handed in terms of what we're requiring of the people who have properties along those buffer zones. And it strikes me as strange that when someone brings a project forward and we say you have to have a 30-foot buffer, and we can see evidence of other property owners that are just blatantly in violation of that, it just makes it hard to really be forceful with that language.
Right. Yeah, I had gone back into the microfiche to find that document in 78 that showed that, they had gotten that waiver, but
I really like the language that the Assembly came up with.
it's 1978.
Well, still, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I hope that's not used as a precedent for other property owners.
Not
Kind of
that I
shoots
know. Yeah,
ourselves in the foot.
yeah, I hope not. I mean, certainly not today, but I think back in that time was a different Anchorage, maybe.
They have the right, because they've purchased frontage property, they have the right to sort of be visible. It was kind of the foundation they were
And for
laying.
utility, I couldn't understand that. You could see a retail business making that claim, but a utility, a public utility?
I couldn't follow the logic, other than it was, somebody had taken action that some politician didn't agree with and came back with a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? We have a move to adjourn? And a second. Excellent. Anyone opposed? All right, we're adjourned. There you go. I get cookies. I don't.
Yes, I'll take those.